I'm Sir Tap Tap, and I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone today here. So, I got some requests to talk about this Midas tap thing, and I don't have it myself, as you can see, but I've heard several reports and some interesting stuff on Reddit from people that did pick it up, and it doesn't maybe work the way you might think it does. It's not really as good as it might sound. There's a few issues that kind of keep it from being really particularly worth it. So, number one is basically the amount of earnings you're going to get from the Midas tap are the same as volcano or volcanic eruption. So if you're late game like me, you'll note that that's not really very much, especially if it's not multiplied by Song of the Moon. So basically it's just doubling your volcano, and that's like less than half of the earnings from any given run of, casting all three skills. Because delicious food really does pick up most of the slack. Which is nice in a way, because it lets you, focus less on mashing tap. But it's also a little frustrating that there's only really one way of getting vitality in the late game, but that's a game design problem. Another thing is that you can only hold one finger on screen, so you can't say hold 5 fingers and get 50 taps per second. No, it's only one. Another issue, if you mash tapping with all of your fingers, you'll actually tap more than 10 times per second pretty easily. So what people have said to do is to kind of hold one finger and mash tap with the other fingers, and it's that's just kind of awkward. But all in all, it's really just not as great as it might sound. You also have to keep your finger on screen the whole time. You can't just tap it once and then it just goes automatically. It won't work in the background. Pretty much nothing in this game runs in the background except for coral vitality there. So it just really doesn't do a whole lot. It also doesn't collect butterflies or candies or any of the event specific currency. It's really only for vitality, and it's just really underwhelming for that. I really can't recommend it. For $10 you're probably better off getting a fish you really like the bunny. The bunny is pretty well designed. Or maybe the beginner package. Spend those gems on upgrading your skills, and honestly that'll probably be more impressive long term than the Midas tap, because you're probably going to play the game pretty idle anyway. Another factor, which I feel I don't like to talk too much about cheats on this channel or on my guide, but I talk about cheating with the clock to get certain unlocks that are kind of fishy. So I'm playing this game in Nox App Player, and Nox App Player has things called macros. What that does is basically you perform an action, you record it, and it does the action, and you can loop it. And that's basically what this does. Is it'll click here, and honestly, it's probably faster than, almost certainly faster than Midas tap. And it actually collects the event currency, the candies. So this is actually pretty useful, and the Midas tap could take some serious notes from this, because this would actually be useful if it automatically collected candies for you. So the way you make this macro, if you want to do this, like I said, it's kind of cheating, but it's also an idle game, and the game is also incredibly unfair and unbalanced late game. So after getting to CA, I kind of realized the game is just not meant to be played beyond this point. But there's still stuff to unlock, so it should be designed to play, because I need to get DL vitality to get to this stupid giant green kelp, and I want those fish, but I can't get them, and it's unbearably slow. So I feel a little bit less bad about some pretty basic, cheat. This is stuff that you could do. It's really just, mindless mashing. It's not even just hacking to give yourself infinite candy or whatever. If people don't want me to do videos for stuff like this, I'll cut it out. I probably wouldn't even, post anything else about it. But, if you're opposed to cheating, you obviously don't have to do it. But just to show you how, I use Nox App Player. It doesn't really have many ads. It's free. It's less annoying than BlueStacks. It works pretty well. What you do is you open up the macro recorder, you press play, and then what you want to do is just basically click all around in this grid where your jellyfish move. Then you hit stop, and then you save your script, and then you can replay it with this play button. Now, obviously, it's a little slow and awkward, and it only plays it once by default. So what you do acceleration on like 3, repeat until manually paused, save it, and there you go. Also, a factor of any kind of farming, you kind of want 4 of these jellyfish, because they float in this region up here, and it's pretty easy to click them either with your hand or with this macro, because they don't move around too much, so they're very predictable. And the reason you want 4 is because up to 3 icons will appear, and the icon can be taken up by the photo quest, so 4 is kind of the ideal amount. Another factor of the cheating, and also of the Midas tap, is that there's no point in doing it unless Song of the Moon is active, because that 15 times multiplier it's completely useless to act when that's not up. That's slightly less the case when it comes to candies, when this is like purely automated, so it's a little bit useful there. It's kind of redundant, so I'll just pick that one. So like we can get a decent amount of candies if I like let this go, like, you know, while I'm doing something else. It's like an idle game should be played. But the problem with the macro is that I couldn't really figure out a way, you know, basically what I would need to do with the macro is every like 7 minutes I would need to stop it, open this, recharge my skill, and, you know, then cast the 3 skills after closing the ad, and like you can't really do that with the macro. For one thing, I don't think you can like set a macro to pause, like you can only run one macro at once, so that's a big barrier. Being able to close the ad, I don't think the X is always exactly in the same spot, so I'm not sure if that would even work, but oh no, where did it, there we go. It's not perfect, but if you're lazy, you know, it's an option. And like I said, generally the Midas tap, it's really just not that worth it. It's basically doing what this macro does, but actually kind of worse than the macro, even though it's like an official cheat, which is kind of a shame. I would say, if you want to just support the devs with a few bucks, pick whichever fish you want that is, you know, within your budget that you want to spend, and just get yourself a fish. You really don't have to pay to beat this game. Paying doesn't even really advance the game a significant amount. Like I said, Midas tap is not really pay to win because it's so bad, which is kind of, you know, it's almost good in a way, but also dumb. But don't feel that you need to pay anything to be able to play the game. Just enjoy it. Know that the developer is getting money from you watching ads, and if you want to pay them, I would say pick whichever fish you want that's within your budget. Like, that bunny is pretty tempting. Alright, when you're running the macro, you can't really operate the game because, you know, it's tapping everything like 5 times a second. Yeah, I do like the bunny, but I'm not sure if I want to pay for mobile games. Like, my thing is mobile games, you never know what's going to disappear, and I just don't like tossing money at that. But yeah, the beginner package is probably the best bang for your buck. If you really want to get a kickstart, I would say that's a better use of your money than the Midas tap. It's just... Yeah, hopefully that was illuminating. And that's all I have to say about Midas tap and macros. I'm not going to help you cheat pretty much anything more than that. Like, I know some people have hacked games where they have like 1 billion gems, which gems don't even really do an amazing amount once you've got your skills maxed anyway. People have got, like, you know, ZZ vitality because they hacked it. You know, they got 18 billion 1,000-year blue whales. And personally, the game is kind of so broken at CD vitality, I kind of do want to cheat, but it kind of defeats the purpose of the game. It's like, what I really want is for them to fix the freaking game. I don't think that's going to happen until after the spring event is done, but I really hope they do address the issue that just after CA, the game just slows down so insanely. Like, I've been at letter CC for 2 days, and I mean, I haven't been playing as accurately or as consistently because I'm borrowing a phone. My phone died, and I'm still waiting to get it back. But it's just so slow, and it's so not fun. And so I was just waiting for the event to come, because then I could buy, you know, the cute bunny sea slugs, and you know, figure out the new unlock conditions. That's always fun. But the main part of the game just kind of stops being fun at this point, and it sucks. But I kind of talked about that in my 5 worst parts of Abyssrium video. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. I've got other guide videos for Abyssrium if you need those. I've got, of course, my website is like kind of the guide for all the hidden fish and all that, so that'll be in the description if you need it. And what's the final word, Parker? Oh, you're not going to comment? You love commenting when I don't want you to comment. He's just purring. Oh, thank you for getting all of my keyboard. He just rolled right on my keyboard. I'm glad he didn't stop the recording, but... yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. If you hear weird purring sounds, that's Parker.